Hi guys, James from DBG here, and welcome to the third video on my Horus Heresy Army, the Loyalist Emperor's Children. You may have seen these rhinos before, I don't know. It depends when I decide to put the video up. But these are two rhinos I purchased on eBay for a song. And the middle one is a Vindicator laser destroyer tank hunter. I bought it off Richard, who is selling his Imperial Fists, but I misheard him and thought it was a Sikaran Venator, but that's not a problem. It's still quite a potent anti-tank vehicle. And then in the corner there we have a quad launcher, which is also something I purchased off Reichhardt for a reduced price. So once again, this is all 30k on a budget, and I would say that your average 30k army will set you back anything. Well, I'll do another video with everything I've got together, but it adds up to just under 2,350 points. I would say buying everything separately and properly, you're probably looking at in excess of £500. I haven't even spent half that. I mean, I've been putting things off eBay for over a year. I mean, I found a box of Betrayal at Calth I had in my cupboard for a couple of years. I bought that off eBay for 70 quid. Obviously it retailed at 105. So that's a saving there. A few of the bits and bobs I swapped over, so the Cataphracti went into my Space Wolves, so I had some Tartarus, bought on eBay again. They were 15-20 quid when they retail for 35. So I reckon all in all I have spent no more than 200, maybe £250 on something that would cost double that if you went straight to Games Workshop and forgeworld itself. But anyway, you may be asking yourself, why are the rhinos in such a state? When I bought them, they needed stripping because the paint on them was incredibly thick. So I went ahead and I stripped them. And as I was stripping them, I discovered layer upon layer upon layer of paint. There was the undercoat, clearly some form of black spray. Then there was a fleshy colour, then a purple colour, then an orange colour, then a purple colour, then blue, and then patches of metallic over that. So that's 5-6 coats of paint of the whole model. And normally, as I use methylated spirits to strip plastic models, it is perfect. As I said before, you just fill up a takeaway tub. It's perfect for this. Fill up a takeaway tub, put your models in it, leave them to soak for 20 minutes, half an hour. Then you go at them with an old toothbrush, and the paint just rubs off. That's brilliant. And then once it's done, you rinse it under a hot tap, dry it off with a paper towel. If there's still a few flaky bits on, they're going to be loose, so you just get a scalpel or a razor blade and just pick them off, tiny little bits. I've never in my life of stripping models had so much trouble stripping these guys. It was soak, scrub, soak, scrub, soak, scrub. After about 3 hours of going backwards and forwards with different types of light abrasive sponges and brushes and stuff, it got to the point where nothing was coming off. No matter how long I left them in there, nothing was coming off, so I had to leave them as they were. Hence why there is quite a few patches or lumps of paint on there. So part of me was like, what the hell do I do? I've just wasted money. And then I remembered the theme of my army, which is the Emperor's Children forces on Istvan 3. Now, if you don't know the story of Istvan 3, it's when Horus played his first card, and himself, Angron, Fulgrim and Mortarion sent their troops they believed would be still loyal to the Emperor down onto Istvan 3 on a sort of a false flag operation. They made a story about rebellion, and these guys were fighting back because they believed they're being invaded again. And then halfway through the battle, they virus bombed the planet, which basically is a quick-acting virus that kills any living organism that, from bacteria right away through to humans and Astartes and everything else. So there's, because even though Space Marine armour is 100% sealed and void-proof, they have to prepare their armour to be sealed and void-proof. They can't just go out, and they didn't know they're going to get virus bombed. So their armour wasn't void-proof. So the survivors were the ones who made it to the bunkers because they were warned by assault targets from the Emperor's children. So thousands made it to the bunkers, but thousands didn't. So all the vehicles and stuff that landed with them would have been out in the open. They would have been unaffected by the virus totally. What happens was when everything decomposes so fast, it releases gas. And then Horus does a lance strike that ignites the gas, and there's a firestorm around the entire planet, just incinerating everything. So that was my idea. That my idea with these two rhinos were some that were parked in obvious places, and they got set on fire a bit. That was my plan. I think I've pulled it off. Well, we'll have a look. Again, with the Venator, I have done some chipping, quite a lot, but not more than I would do normally, because obviously I wanted to make it look like it'd been in a fight for a while. And on the quad mortar, as with the infantry, I've kept it quite clean because it represents the stuff that made it to the bunkers, so they're not as badly damaged. So that's the idea of this. So let's have a look. This one first. Now this one, you may have seen pictures of this, is where I did the freehand. It's been a very, very long time since I've done freehand. Obviously you may think, my God, why you ruined it? Because of, well, it's part of the theme. I mean, as you can see, down here, the paint was just so thick. Oh. Yeah, maybe it's my fault for giving up. Maybe I should have gone out, soaked it overnight and gone at it in the morning, but, you know. Anyway, the effect is there. The effect is lots of paint, maybe even metal that is fused with the paint in the heat that's melted. That's what we've got. And then we've got a multi-melter and a combi belter on top. Then we've got the second rhino. As you can see, the numbers on the front are bigger than you would expect from a normal Space Marine chapter. That's because these are a legion and they are pre-heresy, so there would have been companies, there would have been hundreds of companies in a legion. And I've decided to use some spare vehicle decals I found. This one is a skull that represents this would be a command tank. Obviously the premise is that the guys inside would have just found this tank, jury-rigged it, and started driving around the battlefield again. Because the stuff that went on in Istvan 3 lasted months. They resisted for months. They held Horus and all the other Primarchs off for months, which really, really annoyed Horus, because it was Angron's fault. Horus was just about to do another lance strike and cyclonic torpedoes and actually destroy the planet. But Angron, being Angron, landed with his legion and decided to take his revenge on the survivors for surviving. So that's how a battle ensued for months afterwards. And then we have the Land Raider, Vindicator laser destroyer. As you can see, I've used the Space Marine decal sheet again. This one is to represent a command vehicle of a squadron, because these guys are put in squadrons of 3. I have put the Legion number there, the battlefield role there, so that upside down chevron represents heavy support, and then I've used the Aquila and Thunderbolts, and perfectly usable for Emperor's Children because they were the only Legion allowed to display this, because they were the Emperor's Children. So it fits in perfectly, because I was concerned that even though I can freehand, I wouldn't be able to make the sides symmetrical without quite some effort. So I decided to use decals instead, and I think they've turned out quite well. And also on the end of the laser destroyer, I've done some heat distortion from the lasers. And then last but not least, we have the quad mortar. Now in 40k, I'd have to put the gunner on a separate base to represent, well, for the way it works in 40k. Obviously, this won't be used in 40k. So this guy is a quad mortar. It fires a number of different rounds. You have to pay points. It comes with frag, which is basically anti-infantry if you're fighting something like Imperial Militia or any Xenos that you convert over to 40k, like Orcs or Eldar. Then this is a frag shell would do quite well against it. But this one I've also upgraded to come with shatter shells, which are strength 8. There you go. Which are strength 8 AB4, and they have the Sunder special rule, which means you re-roll armor penetration rolls. Bear in mind that this is a game based on 7th. So there you go. And then we have the Observer. So yeah, so that is the last units of my Emperor's Children for a bit. The rest will be being, well, money is being saved. It's going to be probably about 3 jobs in. I'll have enough money to go. I'll have to go to forgeworld for these ones, because trying to find them on eBay is a nightmare. I have tried, but they get to a point where they're even on eBay. It's more expensive to buy them on eBay than it is to get them direct from forgeworld. So all I need is 2 more of them, a Vorex battle maniple, and 10 Mark IV Marines, which is actually really quite hard to get hold of even on eBay. Yeah, so 10 Mark IV Marines, and that's it. I'll be at 3,000 points, and that's where I'll stop. 3,000 points is a really nice number for a 30k army. Obviously you can go much bigger, but for me 3,000 points is a nice number, because then I'll be limited about what I can do, and then I can work on the second Legion, which if you've already seen that video you'll know which one it is, but if you haven't, or I haven't put it out yet, then I'll save that one. Okay, so please look at in the description below, and there's links to White Shark Gaming and Goblin Gaming. Again, the Goblin Gaming link, or one of the Goblin Gaming links, will send you to their shop and give us rewards for you shopping there, which is very cool of you. Thank you. Facebook and Instagram for us. Check us out on there. Yeah, something else I was going to say, totally forgotten, but as usual guys, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.